Radio 1.
One world, your station.
Kriti Sanon, so lovely to see you. I have to say this. It's such a beautiful film, Mimi is, and it's a family watch. The whole family saw it together, and my wife had a very poignant statement to make. She said she hasn't cried in both happiness as well as sadness since Bajrangi Bhaijaan. So that's a huge compliment to you and the crew. Awesome job.
Thank you so much. You know, it's so lovely to hear because I think since yesterday, everything that I'm hearing is like, we watched it with the entire family, and it's after so long we watched the film together. And I've spoken to so many people's moms who have like loved the film. Every time somebody calls me and they're like, Ari, wait, let's talk to my mom. So I just feel like that feeling is so nice, in times like these that we're in, where like we all are going through something or the other. Life is not as normal as it used to be, and there's so many people who've not gotten out. The content that's been coming is obviously a little more edgier, that slightly crime thriller space. And when people call me and they say, can I watch this film with my kids? And I'm like, please do. And that is amazing to hear.
Listen, I should have asked you right at the top. I hope the family and you are safe and healthy and you've got your vaccines, Kriti.
Yes, I have. My family has also.
Awesome. Listen, away from the romance, the passion and the love that exists in a lot of films that you're part of, Kriti, this one essentially is just about three friends thrown into a into a common situation, and it's really a platonic friendship. Beautiful. There's Sai Tamankar's character, your character, and Pankaj Tripathi's character. So that bonding element and that friendship must have spoken to you.
Pankaj sir and my character are actually not friends, especially in the beginning, and they kind of go through a journey, in their relationship, which is beautiful also. And what I really love about the relationship is that you can't really put a tag. You can't say they're friends. You can't even say they're brother, sister. You can't say that, there's a romantic angle, attraction, nothing. You can't say anything. And that's what's beautiful, that there are two people who actually are very selfishly involved in this and don't care about each other initially, and they end up having a bond where they go through crisis and then they almost like stand up for each other. And that is beautiful. And Sai, obviously, Shama, she plays the character who, I think when I read the script, I always took her as, someone who is not my blood sister, but my sister. She's like my elder sister, my that conscience, that whenever I'm doing something, I'm the one who goes all over the place, and she's the one who kind of summatos everything, and she's the kind of who's just there as this strong pillar throughout. And Sai is a fabulous actor, and I've just had such a blast working with her.
Kriti, also this is Maddock Films, Dino's unit. You must have felt so comfortable filming Mimi. Talk about your friendship with Dinesh Vijan and the Maddock team.
Maddock is like home, I've done this is my fourth release with them, but I've done 6 films. And we were just counting the other day and we were like, my God, 6 films in like 6 years. That is great. And I think we have this mutual love for each other. We wish each other well. We want each other to do well. I really believe in the kind of content that Dino backs, and the kind of work that he does. I think there is something unique in every project, and he is someone who's believed in my talent since day one, since before many people started believing in me. He was the one who did believe in me and said that no, she has something. And so we've had that equation. It always feels like home when we're working together, and I'm just so glad that this special film, it's like our best film. It's his best film and it's my best film, so it's like I'm glad it happened together.
True. Listen, I always knew surrogacy is a flourishing business in India, but I never thought that a lot of people abandon the surrogate mother and flee. So in that aspect, this film really opened my eyes to that sad aspect of surrogacy. Were you aware of this, Kriti, before coming on board the film, or did you also educate yourself on the way and find out about this abandonment issue only after signing on to play Mimi?
Yeah, when I heard the subject is when I got to know about this aspect. I knew what the process is like, but I didn't know beyond that. And this film is actually based before the surrogacy laws came in here. And it's actually inspired by a true event. And this actually happened, and that's when the laws changed here, and then now foreigners are not allowed to take surrogates from here. So yeah, obviously, I mean, a lot of things that even I didn't know of, and there are so many things. If we dwell into the subject of surrogacy, I'm so like, this film just has a backdrop of it, but what you see in the beginning of the film, there's a clinic and there's a whole like like a business going on, and that's what it's been like. And then, somewhere in Gujarat, there's been like actually a place where that happens, and there are women whose husbands who used to sit at home, and they'll be like, every year these women are like giving birth to one kid after the other, and what a toll it takes on their bodies. And I some friends whose wives were lawyers, and they've gone and worked in this particular field. I've spoken to them just for my education. It's not in the film at all, but there are a lot of these very, very scary incidents that have also happened. So the surrogacy laws were much needed. Some of them feel very, very strict, at times too strict. But with the incidents that can happen around it, I'm sure that it was really needed.
Kriti, did you shoot the portions where you've had the maternal weight on first, or did you go in order? So did you add the kilos and then lose it, or put on the kilos as the film progressed?
So I first shot the scenes where she's not pregnant, and also the ones where she gets pregnant, but like there's 2 months, 3 months into it. Then I put on the 15 kilos and I shot the rest of the pregnancy and the second half of the film. And then this was kind of my condition, and I told Lakshmana, so when he told me that you have to put on 15 kilos for it, I was like, do me a favor, just don't shoot the intro song in the beginning. Shoot it last, because that's going to be my motivation to lose those 15 kilos, because I know I have to look really good in that. So yeah, Param Sundari we shot later.
Yeah, and you're looking $1 million in that one. So normally they ask you what your diet is to lose weight. I'm going to flip the question and say, what did you do to put on weight? Was it chocolate, ice creams, what?
It was all of it and more. And honestly, you've seen me. I mean, if I can please show you what I'm eating right now while in the middle of interviews, because I don't get time to like.
Yeah, malicious.
So I normally don't diet, and I'm not the salad person at all. I eat everything. I have my butter chicken, dal makhani. But yeah, we don't have it in all meals. And I've had a small appetite. That's how my stomach is. I can't eat too much in one go. I get hungry every 2.5 hours. For this, my dietitian, my director, everybody was like, ये लड़की सब खाती है, इसको अभी क्या खिलाएं कि ये weight put on करे. My metabolism is such that it ends up burning all those calories. So the only way was to increase my appetite, which means I had to slowly force myself to eat more than what I could at that point. So if आपको भूख नहीं लग रही है, आपका पेट भर चुका है, पर आप और खाओ, is what I had to do. And to have calorie-rich food in every single meal, to have about 7 meals a day, to have in 2 hours, if I'm not hungry, have a cheese slice, have desserts after every main meal, which means thrice a day. Even if I'm drinking something, I had to put something in it so that I get some more calories in. And I had to slowly increase my appetite, which used to sometimes feel obviously stuffy. There are times when you want like khichdi and you don't want anything else. And if you are getting khichdi, then you're getting 2 spoons of ghee on it. And so it was a task, everyone feels like, oh, that must be fun, but it's fun only for the initial like a week. But after that, you don't want to see food. You don't want to have that heavy stuff all throughout. Also, I was not allowed to work out at all, not even yoga, because she was like, you're going to burn some calories, which I don't want you to. So it was challenging, but I think when I saw myself in the second schedule on screen and I saw how different it looked and how real it looked, it just felt like it was worth it.
Did you see the original Marathi film? Did Lakshman show it to you? And if so, then I'm just curious. Is Mimi such a fan of Ranveer Singh's even in the Marathi version?
No. So it's not a remake, only the germ and the soul of the Marathi film. has been taken in. So it's actually a film inspired by the Marathi one. They've changed the whole dynamics, they've changed the characters, they've changed the setting, they've added more flavors. There's no comedy in the Marathi film at all. And that is a very, very heavy film, if you watch it. And that was the one reason why I didn't want to watch it, because I was like, it's not close to what we're making. It's not close to my character at all. I don't want to watch it and have a different thinking. So for me, it was a fresh one.
You've done Lukachupi with Lakshmana. Lesser known fact for people outside Hindi cinema is that Lakshman is also a cinematographer. I mean, he's done films like English for English, Hindi Medium, Dear Zindagi, 102 Not Out as a DOP before he took to direction. You think, Kriti, that adds to his skill set as a director, knowing the framing, the lenses, the way a scene is set up for the camera? And beyond that, I'd like you to speak of Lakshman's strengths as a filmmaker now that you worked with him twice.
Absolutely, it adds to the way he looks at scenes. I feel like, I never thought and I never got into the fact that DOPs, uh, they change lenses and they put specific lenses for certain scenes and certain emotions of the character, and how much that can change, a film. They put a certain kind of lens if the character is confident. They put a different kind of a lens if the character's state of mind is all over the place, and like so I feel when it has to be handheld, when it has to just stay like steady, when it has to go extreme close. So I feel the kind of lensing, and I had these conversations with him. It was very, very educating. Like, he spoke to me about Dear Zindagi and English, and how he changed the lenses through the film to make as the character progressed. And it's really interesting, and I feel that kind of changes the way he looks, his vision in the film. He also, obviously, framing and everything, he understands it so amazingly. But what is beautiful about him is that being a DOP, knowing everything about it, he doesn't interfere in the job of the DOP on that film when he's directing. He doesn't, he would ask the DOP, like, what do you think? What lens are you putting? What framing are you doing? What do you want to do? So I think that says a lot about him as a person, because he knew that he was donning the hat of a director, not a DOP at that point. I'm sure he must be itching to go behind the camera and hold it, but he did. And that's what's amazing. And I feel like he, as a person, is one of the purest, one of the most honest people I have met. The life that he has led is a film in itself. He, at some point, used to make vada pav, and that's how he started. He was a focus puller. He became a DOP. Then he became a director. His life journey, you must have a separate interview with him. I think that is a film in itself. He is a very, very sensitive person. In Luka Chupi, I realized that, okay, he really understands comedy, situational comedy, and he captures it very well, even when there are like some 5, 6, 8 characters in a scene, where the director needs to have control ki kitna chhode aur kitna khiche, and he needs to have that clarity. And in this film, I realized that, okay, he has a very, very deep emotional side to him, where he understands emotions deeply. And it's beautiful because he gives you that liberty as an actor to do your thing, to even suggest something which is away from what he's been thinking. And there are times when he would give you some suggestion which just works as magic, So there were times I used to tell him, okay, sir, मैं अगर ऐसे करूँ तो I'm thinking of doing it like this, and he would be like, करके दिखाओ, and he's like, हाँ मम्मी ऐसे करते हैं, ऐसे ही करते हैं. And he'll change the camera stuff and everything. He'll change the whole way he was thinking about that scene. And there are times when I remember, that one scene where the lawyer comes and we all are discussing what to do. I in my head, I was like, I'm feeling very restless as a character in this. So I just feel like I don't think she can be still. She might be walking around. And he was like, no, I feel like she's restless in her mind, but she's just like so low and demotivated, and she's somewhere in her head maybe already sort of given up, and she doesn't know what to do. And I think I bet jao, aap mat hilo. So, and that worked. And that, like, I was not thinking like that. You know, when I come on set, sometimes I have something in mind. With him, I always do because I know that I can play around. So I think, yeah, it's been amazing. He's just so talented, and I'm so happy for him. And I hope that he gets what he deserves and just rises and rises high.
That's so beautiful. The kid is just so adorable, Kriti. I mean, the 4-year-old Raj in the film. Who was he? Where did they find him? Too cute. I mean, child actors sometimes tend to be precocious. I know it all types, but he was just the right amount of cuddly and cute and innocence. Talk about your bond with that kid on the set and your scenes together.
Oh my God, Jacob. That his name is Jacob, and I think he was meant to be Raj. He was meant to be my Raj. I. So basically, they found him on a beach. It was his last day with his family in Goa, and they were, about to leave the next day or something. And Vaibhav, who I think was casting for the film, was just trying to find a kid for that part, and he saw him, and he just went to them and said, would he want to do a film? It's that filmy, the whole thing. And they kind of agreed, and they stayed back, and they made him say some lines. Obviously he doesn't know Hindi, so they made him learn some dialogues. There's just one dialogue, that the longest dialogue that he has to say, which is बंटी मुझे स्कूल में चिढ़ा रहा था, सफेद भूत बोल रहा था. So वो उसने रट लिया था, वो उसने बहुत अच्छी तरह रट लिया था. उसको बस वो एक डायलॉग रटा दिया था. बाकी वो कभी भी, इट्स सो फनी बिकॉज वो कभी भी आता था जैसे कुछ सीन में, और अगर वो भूल गया कि उसको क्या बोलना है, तो वो ये वाला डायलॉग बोलना शुरू कर देता था. So with him, it was this is the first time that I was working with a child, and that too so closely, and I had so many scenes with him. It's a completely different game altogether. I realize it is very tiring, very difficult. You have to sort of, even when you're not shooting, to entertain the child, to take care of him. And I had to, before we started shooting, about 15-20 days before we started shooting, I had to make friends with him. Because in my head, I was like, Lakshman sir told me that, Mimi, I want you to be so close to him and so comfortable with him, or rather him to be so comfortable with you, that on set, after his own mother, he should look for you.
Wow.
And I was like, yes, that makes sense. I have to be that go-to person for him, on set. I have bonded with him. I've played so many games with him. I have bribed him with toys and lollipops and all the stuff that he really liked. He came home. He played with both my pups. There was a big toy that he really loved, and he took it all the way to Mandava with him. And I used to play all the time. Jacob and I were inseparable. We were playing between takes. And when the shot was getting set up, and with kids you have to become a child, where I remember camera लगते ही वो yawn करना शुरू कर देता था. लगते ही उसके face पे camera, he was so, and while he was saying the dialogue, the only way was to take his take, because he doesn't know Hindi. So when the camera is on him, I used to say his dialogue, he used to repeat it. Then I used to say his dialogue, he used to repeat it. So I was mirroring his stuff in those takes. And then when the camera was on me, you're obviously not getting any responses, and you have to enact like you are. And then he ends up sometimes putting a hand up in the middle of the take. So you have to kind of control that. Really funny stuff. Yeah, he used to sometimes say dialogues, and Bunty mujhe school mein chidha raha tha, safed bhoot. Don't look all around. And then the only way I found was I was wearing a bindi. So I was like, Jacob, look at this. Look at this when you say the dialogue. So he used to look at this like that, and he used to say the dialogue. So it was really, I think, a lot of fun, but at the same time exhausting and a very different experience. Kids pick up things faster, but kids do whatever they want. So to get him, I think सब बच्चे बन गए थे सेट पर, सारे ADs सब लोग Jacob करते हुए रहते थे पूरा time. We used to play with Superman and Spider-Man and so many different toys, and Yeah, it was a very different experience, and he's lovely. I still have voice notes where he said, "I love you, Mimi," and
Oh,
for the longest time he didn't know my name, and he knew my name as Mimi. And this was a suggestion that was given by me to Lakshman, so that I feel that he should not call her mummy, because she was not prepared to be a mother. She's not married, okay, and I feel that she should have this unique relationship with the child where they're like friends and they're like buddies, and that's how he talks to her. So the world calls her Mimi, and he also calls her Mimi. So that I think was the kind of bonding that I and him had. There are so many moments that you'll see, since you've seen the film. There's at the end, he does like something and he bangs his head on mine, and that just came impromptu. That moment would have not come if I would have not bonded with him. It
beautiful.
was the real moment. That was him and me. That was not Mimi and Raj.
The soundtrack, I mean, this is as big as it gets, Kriti. It's A.R. Rahman sir, the music, lyrics by Amitabh Bhattacharya. I've already put Rockabye Baby on repeat on my phone. The song, yeah, the song sung by Rahman Saab's daughter and Julia Gartha. Phuljadiyo reminds me of Pataka Guddi, which is a Rahman Saab classic from the film Highway. There's the haunting Rihai De sung by Rahman Saab himself. What would be your favorite and why?
See, Param Sundari has been on my list for a very long time, but that's a different mood altogether. Rihai De, I think, is one of my favorite tracks. I feel like it's just sung so beautifully. The lyrics, the sound of it, and the word Rihai is what exactly she's feeling at that point. It's just so apt. I love Hututu also. Hututu has become my morning song. Like it's got that vibe, like it wakes you up with like a smile on your face. So Hututu has become my morning song, and I also love Rockabye, honestly. That these are actually my favorite tracks. Rockabye Baby is just nobody but Rahman sir, could have done this. The fact that at the end it's about these two mothers, and how beautifully he has mixed the Hindi and the English in this beautiful song. It leaves you with a smile.
The hardest days of lockdown, Kriti. Now, of course, you're back on your feet, you're filming, your fans love that, we love that. But those hard days of lockdown at home, I've been speaking to actors. Some say, oh, I started writing. Some say I started meditating. Is there a skill set that you picked up? And I don't mean by jhadu, pocha and katka. Is there a skill set that you picked up during that phase of being indoors? Or did you just be?
I went back to poetry. So that is something that, I mean, you and I have discussed before.
Yeah, I love it. I just love it. Yeah.
I started writing way more than what I used to. One skill set is cooking and baking, both, which I actually became very pro at it. Like I was baking bread and like buns and like, things like that, and like those chicken filled breads and all of that. And I was like really into it. And I'm someone who hated cooking, who couldn't cook anything but Maggie. Uh, and I loved cooking, and I started cooking like a lot of things. So that was something like my mother was like, wow, I never thought you would do this in life.
Yeah, that's a skill set. I was also very impressed by Evelyn, the actor who played the American lady who can't have babies. Her Hindi is terrific. How did she pull that off? And your interactions on the set with her, if any?
She doesn't know Hindi. She learned those dialogues, and she's a very hardworking actor, and she's really she used to have like diction and those kind of classes in LA, and where she's from and all. And she's very hardworking. So when she has to get something, she's at it, and very good actor as well. And yeah, it's I mean, to speak a different language that you don't know and to be able to emote in it is tough. And I think she did a brilliant job. It's like I know the feeling, because when I'm talking in Telugu and I don't know Telugu, you know, I don't speak in that. When I spoke like Marathi in Panipat, I don't know the language still. I just know a few words.
Apart from adoption and surrogacy, the film also explores in a fun manner. That's what I love about Lakshman's scripts and in interpretation. How we're so obsessed with fair skin in our country. It's improved, but there's still miles to go. I want to know your thoughts. Like when people see the fair skin baby, they all go, wow, 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 wow.
Yeah, I think films are a reflection of reality, of what actually is happening around. And what take we have on it and how we show it uh, is what makes all the difference. You know, the way he showed it, you would realize that we are trying to sarcastically but slightly sort of leave it in your head that this is what happens and it shouldn't happen. And yeah, there are so many myths. Ye khao, wo khao, gora bacha paida hoga, and all, they are there. They're there within our society. So that's the way you said. That's the beauty of Lakshmana. You know, he kind of, in small scenes, will say some little things that will stay with you.
My last question is about Pankaj Tripathi and you, and what an association. You must have a special bond considering how much work you've done together. Talk about him. And really, for me, no disrespect to everybody else, this film is something that both of you have just carried on your shoulders. So let's end with talk about Pankaj.
He's someone I absolutely love. I think he's a phenomenal actor, and we all know that. And what is amazing is when you worked with an actor in two films, and especially in one film, Bareli Barfi, our equation was like really appreciated. The liberal father-daughter relationship that we had was unique. And in this, when I got to know that he's playing the part, he's just so perfect for it. It is written for him. And again, like I said, the beauty of our relationship is that you can't tag it, you can't label it. And how we go through so many moments together and how our dynamics change. And he's obviously much senior to me. He's done so much work. He's a phenomenal actor. But I have by now that comfort zone with him, that tuning with him, where I know what to expect, and I also know that I don't need to have that boundary or the limit of, I can say this or I cannot say this to him. I can say whatever I want. And I know as an actor, he's a very collaborative actor who wants to collaborate and make the scene better. So it's not like I can't tell him, Pankaj, main na aise kar rahi hu, agar aap aise karo to, he loves ideas. And I think our tuning, our chemistry is such now, we feed off each other very, very well. And a lot of our improvs actually make to trailers. The whole bit where I say, "Mera figure to kharab nahi hoga na."
Wow.
And he says no, and then I look at him and I say, "Tu kar chuka hai," and then he says no. That whole portion was not in the script, And with him, I feel like our improvs are also magical because our chemistry is good.
Kriti, I wish I could meet you and give you my usual big bear hugs, but I'm going to have to make do with virtual hugs. Thank you for your time, and thank you for the joy you give us with your presence, your movies, everything. Much love.
Thank you so much, Hrishikay. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
94.3 Radio 1.
One world, your station.